What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Canucks News you might have missed. And this time we are going to have Corey at Vcanucksnews with us once again. So, Corey, what is going on, buddy?
My hair's in this great period. You can see like the wing here, and if I go over here, you can see it there too. It's
Looks
great.
absolutely fantastic. All right, so let's get to your news. There's a lot of news, by the way, and some really interesting stuff. I think we have a huge amount of injury updates. Just there's a lot here. So right off the bat, Jonathan Lekkerimäki has been assigned to the Abbotsford Canucks. That's interesting because, as Brandon Astle here says, I don't see Lekkerimäki out there, which means that he'll have to go on a trip to Calgary next weekend and play in one game in order to be eligible for a recall to Vancouver, which means, Corey?
Niels Hoglander's probably going to get activated off
Mm-hmm.
LTIR tomorrow and play his first game of the season for your Vancouver Canucks.
Yes, it's going to be a very, very high probability we see Hoglander, which is going to
Yeah,
be fun to see Hoglander back and see how he does. So here are some of our injury updates. So
yeah.
Nils, you know what, Corey? This is yours. Go ahead. Rock it
Niels
out.
Hoglander expected to be activated Monday. Thatcher Demko expected to be activated Thursday. Both those come from Adam Foote. Most of this comes from Adam Foote.
Mhm.
Philip Edel, Foote said he was skating on his own, and he's made some progress. Still a ways away, but it increasingly sounds like he's going to
Mhm.
try to come back this season.
Mhm.
Hope that'll be scary,
I
but
hope I hope he just goes and plays. Like, I want him to see him, and I'm sure you agree. We want to see him healthy
want
and
him
ready to
healthy.
rock, and just not even. It's not even about hockey with him anymore. It's just about having him healthy. And if he is going to actually come back and play, I just really hope they figured out a way to just keep him healthy, man, because it's getting scarier and scarier with every injury.
He got injured on like a clean hit ostensibly.
Mm,
Like there wasn't even a penalty on the play.
yeah,
So
I feel bad for him.
I feel so bad. I'm so worried. Teddy
Mm,
Bluger, that's one of the more mysterious ones, had a
mm,
setback. That was the latest report, was he was ongoing more testing. I have him as week to week, which if, I figured this out. If people don't know what like week to week means, it means ask the team once a week every week, month to month.
That's
It does.
exactly right.
Ask the team once a month, every month, and then you'll get your update. Like that's what that means. So week to week, we're due for an update sometime next week, and that's the same with Derek Forbert. Dollywall said that is a groin injury. Both expected him to be healed by now, and it has not, and it's just taken longer than everyone thought. So week to week on him, he's on LTIR, while Bluger's just on regular IR. And then Elias Pettersson, if we all remember, uh, got was a late scratch for the
Mm,
last game. Foote said that he was injured, or he like I don't woke up injured or got. I'm not entirely clear how it worked, but basically like they didn't give any indication in the practice that he wasn't playing, and then he just didn't dress for the game. And Foote said that he got hurt, or that he basically like said he could not play after the
mm.
practice in the morning. They didn't say anything about it, and
Yeah, which
that's
makes that Minnesota win like so much more
yeah,
impressive, like
crazy.
incredibly impressive, considering how short notice it was as
Yeah.
well. And with Bluger and Forbert both being out still, it's just when they come back, our penalty kill should get a huge shot in the arm, man. Like these are two of the better penalty killers, especially Forbert, one of the best penalty killers in the league. So
Yeah.
hopefully he'll be coming back sooner rather than later. Both those guys and everybody else on this list. So next up, I just
Yeah.
wanted to give out some shout out to Cam Robinson. I actually really enjoy a lot of his prospect stuff, so give him a follow. And also, we're going to be talking a little bit about Dave Hall and Scott Wheeler mentioning that Braden Coots and Cam Robinson mentioned that Braden Coots has been sent a camp invite from Team Canada to the World Juniors. By the way,
Mhm.
keep in mind that does not guarantee a spot on the team, but is a big step up for the young player. What's your opinion on Coots? Do you think he's going to make that team?
I'm not a prospect guy. I have no
Mm,
clue. I know it's a very, every year Team Canada is extremely competitive. From his profile, he seems to be that kind of player that Team Canada like takes over a more offensively inclined guy.
mhm.
He's a center. He has offense, but he's a captain of his team. All he has all those intangibles that like people go like crazy for, that makes you think he's gonna kind of like sneak in on the team.
Yeah, and that was YVR graphics with the graphic there. Really nice. Also, Dave Hall mentioned that. Okay, you go ahead with the names because you can pronounce both these guys a lot better than I can. So go ahead.
Vasil Sansonens and Wilson Bjork have been named to their World Junior teams.
Which is really nice to see. So we are going to have potentially a really, really like some interesting prospects to watch at the World Juniors, especially if Coots also makes the team. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. All right, so let's get into some of the non-prospect stuff. Let's go into some of the actual news here, and this is from you as well. So go ahead, Corey, knock it out.
Yeah, I like we can well focus on the Sherwood stuff. I mean, the second part is also the Sherwood stuff, but it's and I'll go into some other stuff that's also not on here. Canucks are kind of slow playing this a little bit. I don't think it's on purpose. It's just they have a price. The price is a good young player. Price. I've also like heard that the price is a first and a little bit more, or just a first. Like it's kind of all over the place. Equivalent. Canucks want a lot for him if they're going to be trading Kiefer Sherwood now. They want something significant back. The part I found interesting is actually that second part, not giving teams permission to speak to players.
Yeah, what is about that? This is actually a recurring pattern now for years. Like, I'm really trying to figure out between the pros and cons. I just feel like there's more pros by letting people talk to these things. I understand it kind of, I guess, alienates some of the rest of the team knowing that people are getting shopped and stuff like that. But the general manager and the president literally had an email saying, "Hey, veterans are available." Like, this isn't like anything crazy. So, like, what's your opinion on letting specific players talk with other teams, to get a feel and also potentially increase that value? Or I guess maybe they think decrease that value if he's asking for too much. But I think there's more positive than negative on that, in my opinion.
Well, so apparently GMs are switching to that and saying we don't want the players we're trading to talk contract beforehand because it's giving a history of weakening the stance of the team, and they're getting less from those. Like, say you give say like there's the Noah Hannafin example right here, right? Where they gave him permission to speak to the Golden Knights, and then they ended up getting less for Hannafin. It wasn't a good return for him than you would have expected from an excellent player. And it was because like they had been given permission to talk contract and then kind of lowballed the Flames. And then he's like, well, I'm not going to sign with anyone else. So you can trade me. And then they know that they're only getting me in rentals. So his market was severely reduced. So teams are looking at that going, you know what? We're just going to trade players as rentals. Where that's just the way we're going to look at it. Now, that's not always the case. There's the Mikko Rantanen thing from Carolina to Dallas, right? But not the other way around, right? It's an interesting shift where before that used to be a thing, and now I think players and agents have learned how to turn that leverage into almost like a de facto no trade clause mid-season.
But what's your opinion on the whole Owen Tippett thing? Because you mentioned here, it got out the Canucks have asked for Owen Tippett, have asked other teams for similar players. But like Owen Tippett, you're not going to get a guy, you're not going to trade Sherwood for Tippett because he's a UFA. No. So the only guys like you're thinking about is a guy like maybe Connor Garland. But then I'm thinking Myers. In that range, I'm like, it doesn't, like, even if it was Garland, like I just don't see the point. Like Garland, does he not outproduce him as well? Like Owen Tippett. So he's Owen younger. Tippett right now has currently in 27 games plays, he has 19 points. It's actually a little bit better than I thought.
No, Tippett's good, and he signed to a good contract, and he signed very long term. It's like a 7-year contract. Like the idea, but my suspicion, and this comes from Rick Dollywall's reporting and trying to put 2 and 2 together, is that I don't know why I did this, but there you go. Is that the Flyers were asking about a defenseman. And if the Canucks were, and which defenseman does Rick Tocchet love more than anything? A big giant man named Tyler Myers.
So I would do it. The Tyler wouldn't. He's not going to leave.
No, but I mean, it's also like Rick also said that, hey, I don't think the conversations went anywhere.
Yeah.
So the Canucks asked for Owen Tippett for Tyler Myers, and both sides go, what are we doing anyway? Neither side's going to make this done. They're not going to trade Tippett for Myers. The Canucks aren't going to add to Myers, and Myers probably isn't going to waive. So that's the end of it. The Flyers aren't actually seriously great trade partners from what I can see.
Yeah, I personally think Detroit looks much better of a trade partner. Even the New Jersey Devils have a lot of real interesting pieces, but I know you're not high on some of these
I don't
guys,
like
but
any of their stuff.
I do actually quite like a few of their guys,
I
but
don't like them. I think they're
few
all
of their
middling.
players. I'll say this though, and some of them are having way better seasons, but that can be a talk for when we get to the Quinn Hughes stuff. By the way, they're looking for a good young player. His play has dipped since the trade speculation started. Even without permission, teams are trying to figure out what's next. Contract looks
cutting you off. His production has dipped.
Correct.
His play has not.
Oh, correction. His production. So, with that production dip, I was personally saying I need a minimum first rounder or 2 second rounders. Do you think I should be changing my mentality potentially?
No,
you know what?
He was shooting 30%. Everyone in the NHL knew that was going to go down a bit. Like the idea, like people look at this and go, every game he doesn't score, it goes down. It doesn't, because he does everything else incredibly well. Like his trade value has not changed in the 2 weeks. It's still
not to
there.
mention the leadership qualities that he has. Yeah. He's just an immense leader. He hits everything that moves. Play him. You can play him on the PK. You can pretty much do whatever the hell you want do with Sherwood. The guy's a menace. But I will say, I'm not trying to go on what my way of thinking. It's just like what other people think, and you're saying no. So that's really interesting there. Continue on with the teams giving permission to speak to players' part.
I don't really have any more to add to it. Is the thing. Like we talked about it. I thought it was a very interesting note. And that's kind of it. We'll see if that like bears out in the future. It's going to be a really interesting trade year. There's a lot of weird caps, right?
Yeah. Also, by the way, so Drance talked about this a little bit in the past as well, but Steve made a nice little thread here talking about some of the Quinn Hughes stuff when it comes to like some of the benefits of the contract and things like that. Is that if Quinn Hughes decides to sign with the Vancouver Canucks, it's gonna be an 8-year deal, or like it could be up to an 8-year deal by, I believe, September 15th or something? 15th, right? So that's a huge advantage for Vancouver. Also, the interesting note to that as well is the sign and trade aspect doesn't activate until the offseason. And then I believe he can only get, if he sign and trades, can he only get the 7 years then?
He can only get an 8-year contract with the Canucks.
Vancouver Canucks only, right? So the thing is, so he's losing power as this goes based off if he really cares about the money. Yes, if he cares about the money. Now, obviously, we don't know for sure what's going on in Quinn's head. We don't know what he wants to do. Like, there's a lot of speculation out there, right? But the fact is, the Vancouver Canucks, in theory, can give him, if he wants, they can give him an astronomical deal into 8 years and see if Quinn goes out and accepts it. But the catch is as well is, Vancouver Canucks, some people believe, including myself, at the trade deadline or right before, even right now, I believe the value is as high as it possibly could be. Now, Corey, I don't know if you agree, but like the counter argument to that is in the offseason, you open up the sign and trade, and in the offseason, you also open up the fact that teams have more cap flexibility as well. Yeah. So where do you land on the whole Quinn Hughes value purposes? Do you think he has more value now in the offseason? How would you kind of mold this whole situation there, Corey?
I have 2 points to this. The first point is a tangential. I just want to point out another thing that to talk about this a little bit more is it's not just the 8-year thing. It's also the signing bonus structure, in that that is getting capped, and until September 15th, that it's like no caps. It's a little more complicated than that, basically, right? But he can get more beneficial or player-friendly signing bonuses if he signs now. That's the other thing as well. It's not just the extra year. It's also like signing bonuses that like are much more beneficial to the player. The other thing is, so when is he at his most value? It's basically, playoff versus more teams getting in on him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
hard,
really don't
right?
know. I don't know. You would think conventional wisdom should say that he should be the extra playoff is worth an astronomical sum, and someone's going to want to pay up. But then the counter argument would be, then it's really hard. His contract's great, but it's still hard to fit that in the middle of the year, and you have less teams that are prepared to make that such drastic shift, at the deadline or whatever mid-season. It's that, like, that basically uproots everything. Is that a thing that you're going to be able to do? Ultimately, though, it just comes down to, what does Quinn Hughes want to do?